Hi guys, so I'm back again with another video. I pray that you all are doing well. Holy Spirit, all of you and none of me, as I recall these memories to deliver this testimony. All right, so this is part 2.5 because there is an integral piece in the process of the video that screwed up that I missed in the last part. So let me catch you up to it. So I ended off part 2, the redo, where I was explaining to you guys what my husband helped to birth out of me. And giving you the history is actually what he helped to birth out of me once again. All right. And I'm going to explain that. So what was that vision what was that generational wealth opportunity? Well, it was basically becoming a franchise owner. That became my goal, is to search for the particular franchise that I can become a member of. I can learn their business model and I can actually, basically enable it within my business, right? So my start was, I had to start from scratch. I had to do the research for it. I had to figure out what I wanted to do first. There's so many franchise opportunities out there. The crazy thing was, you would wonder, why did you just choose a franchise? How do you even know about franchises? Well, God put this in my heart at a young age. I want to say like in my early 20s, about 20, 21, 22. I remember working at a company called First American. I didn't have any children yet. I just remember working at First American, and I remember, I can recall sitting at the desk and learning about what a business plan was. So there was this particular franchise called Computer Renaissance. If you guys know me, I'm a techie. So the franchise that I wanted to open was called Computer Renaissance. And basically what you did was you sold computers. But you didn't just sell computers. People would come to you with their old PCs. You would look at their old computers, you would check them out, and you would basically give them a trade, like a credit towards a new PC. But the premise of the business was to kind of maybe resurrect something like a Geek Squad now in our days, except that they would actually get a credit for their old PC to apply to a new PC. And then of course you would take the parts, you would use them, you would sell them, because sometimes PCs go down and parts can still be used. So anyway, I remember contacting this company. I remember talking to the people I need to talk to. I remember understanding what the starting capital was. I remember learning for the first time what a business plan was. So I got all the paperwork that I needed to do. I got the business plan. I even reached out to the SBA. And the SBA told me that I had to go to several, to banks to basically get funding. I remember going to, at the time, it was Hibernia Bank, which is now Capital One Bank in Louisiana. I remember going to Hibernia Bank and having a meeting with one of the bankers to tell them what my idea was. I had the entire business plan, it was like a PowerPoint presentation, right? But it was on paper. And I gave the guy the presentation and everything was great to him. And I remember he started to look at my credit. And the idea was great, but my credit wasn't where it needed to be. And I remember so much so my mom watched me work really, really hard at getting it done, to the point she wanted to help me and she wanted me to use her credit to get it. And I declined it. I was like, no, I don't want you to use your credit to help me get something. I want to do it on my own. And I remember going to the SBA. And the SBA told me that I needed to get declined by 3 different banks first before they could assist. And I'm like, well, if I got declined by one, that means I'm going to have to keep getting dings on my credit. And if my credit is already struggling, if it's weak, I don't want to keep applying and, mess up my credit. And then I get with the SBA, and that doesn't work. So that was my stopping point when the SBA told me that. I was very immature within Christ. I didn't pray, I didn't continue to seek God. Now that I look back on that time, I'm like, okay, God, you were trying to tell me something then, maybe prepare me for my future. But because I went through that process, and then I had other adventures, me and my best friend went through a process where before Starbucks was even Starbucks, so we knew it, we were thinking of opening up a coffee shop that basically did the same thing like Starbucks, except it was more comfy and cozy that you can sit in there. That was another franchise idea that didn't work. So it was always in me, but it was lying dormant. And when I met my husband, that's when, it became alive again, because, he kind of helped me to see that vision again. And that's why I chose franchises. So I already knew where to start looking, where to go, for the franchise. So I did all my searching and I decided to do dog grooming. And I found this beautiful franchise that I was going to become a part of, and it was called Paparazzi. Beautiful person, beautiful owner. She's still my friend to this day. I love her so very much. And just tell you about connections. I don't want to talk too much because I got about 5 more minutes in this video. But because I went into dog grooming, when we talked, she's like, well, you're gonna have to go to school for it, and then once you go to school for it, they're gonna put you kind of like out in the field, like an externship where you have to actually work in a salon. So keep in mind, your girl is a full-time worker. She has a full-time job. I'm a full-time wife. I'm a full-time mom, and I have, boys have full-time activities in sports, and I had to fit going to school, and I did it. Every opportunity that I had to study, to read the modules, to go through the lessons, to complete the test, I did so. I finished a little bit faster than I was supposed to, because it's normally like, I guess it's supposed to be like a year or 2, you take your classes and you pace it, but I worked on it every day to complete it. So I passed it, flying colors, did well, and it took them a while to assign me to a salon. So when I finally got assigned to a salon, I had to do 160 hours of in the field training, basically being at the salon, grooming dogs, getting the experience, right? They set me up with a salon that was about a good 30-45 minutes away from where I live. And the only time I had available to do it was on a Saturday. So for I want to say it took me about maybe 6 months to complete, 6 to 8 months to complete. I had to sacrifice every Saturday. Guys, I don't know if you know how that feels, sacrificing every Saturday. I missed a lot of practices. My son, he was in high school and he wrote a play, and he went out to I don't know where it was, somewhere out of town, and they actually reenacted his script. My second son, he wants to be a screenwriter, so his particular script got chosen, and I missed that. I couldn't go because I had to, I made this particular sacrifice. There were some Saturdays I would get up, I didn't want to go. It was taking a toll on me. I was learning the dogs. The dogs are beautiful, but it's like, it's really, some dogs are great. Some of the big dogs, they're fighting back and forth with you. It's a beautiful thing because I was able to connect with the dogs. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not knocking it, but you got to know that it's something that you want to do. I'm just giving you my experience of it. So, it's challenging. Anything that you want to do is challenging, but I'm developing the skill. I'm becoming an expert at it. The dogs are tug-of-warring with me. I'm tug-of-warring with them back, because I'm like, we gonna get this done. You don't want to get your nails groomed and your nails clipped, and you don't want to get cut, but we're gonna do it. But the people were great. The salon that got picked for me was the perfect salon for me. And he knew that I was coming in as a franchise owner, and he gave me a lot of pointers, a lot of tips, and even his own story, how, he got started. And I'm doing this, and I'm dedicated, and I'm even documenting my time. And I tell you, there was some Saturdays I'm like, I don't want to go, but I pushed myself to go. So it was difficult. It was rewarding at the same time, but it caused me to kind of, open my eyes and to start thinking just a little bit, because I still was convinced that this is what God had for me. You know what I'm saying? I was convinced that this is, God put this here. I have to be learning this for some reason. Okay, so now when you go into the next part, you'll understand where I'll start off talking about how, difficult I was explaining to you how dog grooming was. Y'all know what I say. I love you with the love of Christ. John 3:16. Y'all catch me in the next video. All right, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. I love you guys. See you then.